That stuff is stout. This thing is so cold-blooded. It's like 100 degrees and it still has trouble starting. This is only like 60% sketchy, so I'll do it. If it was 70% though, no way. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Check out our state-of-the-art chemical mixing station. Complete with a 1,500 gallon water tank, inductor. We got a shuttle and a pump over there. We're mixing hot loads of fungicide, insecticide, and foliar feed for our soybeans. We're putting them in this tank here and going out and spraying them. We got a few acres left to spray. I'm gonna try and get as much as I can done today. We got some rain this morning. We got 2 inches of rain a few days ago, so not all the ground's gonna be fit. I think I can get through some of it, and the rest we might have to either do with an airplane or just not spray it. We haven't really decided what we want to do yet on that. So I think I got about 80 acres I could spray today. We got about, I'm not exactly sure, we got about half of it done already, and it had been going good. Then we got 2 inches of rain and kind of kept us out of the field for a few days. So I'm gonna get this thing hooked up, mix up a batch, and we're gonna go spray it out, see if we can get a little bit done today. So this inductor I just kind of rebuilt. I put a new cone in it. We pulled this thing out of the weeds. It had been sitting outside for probably 15 years not being used, and the plastic cone that was in it was just, it was pretty crispy. It was brittle, and pieces of plastic were breaking off and falling down in the bottom and clogging it up and clogging our screen up. So I got a new cone. It was pretty cheap. I mean, we got a decent stand, so saved us a little bit of money there. Haven't used this one yet. This is gonna be our first load that I mix with this bad boy, and it should work better. So we're using this pump that's on this tank, just because it's already on here, and we don't have another one to sit down here. So what you gotta do is you gotta pop the inlet side of the pump off, put this hose up, which goes over to our storage tank, open up the recirculation valve, and then you can pump into the tank. Well, come on. Fenders work nice for a little mixing table for measuring. Let's see, what do I got here? That looks like a full jug of that. I'm gonna have to get some more out of the shed. So I think I'm gonna need one of these jugs. Come back here. And then I'm gonna need one of these. And probably one of these. So here's what we're spraying. We got Propaz here. This is a generic Quilt XL fungicide. It's azoxystrobin and propiconazole. That is the 2 active ingredients. It's relatively cheap, and it's 2 out of the 3 parts of Trivapro, which is a very popular fungicide. A lot of people like the Trivapro, but it's a lot more expensive. So we figure this has got 2 out of the 3 active, so it's at least 2/3 effective. Then we got Lambda. This is an insecticide. You don't want to get this stuff on your face. It will burn, and it just kind of ruins the rest of your day, so gotta be careful with this stuff. This is an adjuvant. This is called what is this? Non-ionic surfactant. So this is basically a water conditioning agent that just helps the chemical spread out over the leaf of the plant, and it just makes it do a better job. The other thing we're spraying is this Versamax soybean. This is a foliar nutrient package. It's got basically all the nutrients in it, nitrogen, sulfur. The 2 that we are really wanting is manganese and zinc. I guess this doesn't have boron in it. I thought it had boron in it. Anyways, it's a relatively cheap, it's like $2-3 an acre, so we throw it in, figure it can't hurt. So that being said, let's start mixing. All right, so I really only need 7.5 gallons of this because I'm doing an 80 acre load. So there's my 7.5 of that. I'll have to measure some of this non-ionic, and I'll have to measure a little bit of lambda. So let's get to mixing. I always like to put a little bit of water in the inductor, that way we're not pumping straight chemical. Where am I at? We're running this through the pump. This is not a, what do you call it? It's not a pusher pump, it's a puller pump, so we're pulling the chemical through the pump. And if you're running straight chemical through it, it's kind of hard on the pump. Shoot, forgot to grab the correct gloves. That's better. Always wear proper, what am I trying to say? Always wear proper personal protective equipment. PPE, that's what I'm trying to say. There's our 7.5 of that. I just gotta rinse these jugs. Normally I would be pumping a little bit of water in the tank just to get it going, but you guys probably can't hear me with the pump running, so I'm just gonna hold off. Alright, I gotta do some quick math. So we got 80 times 2 is 160, divided by 128 is 1.25 gallons. So we got 1 gallon in a jug. So I can dump 1 full one in, and I need 32 ounces. So we'll get our 32 ounces. This is the stuff you really don't want to get on your face. So lean back a little bit in case it splashes. And 32. And we'll put the lid back on that so we don't have a bad day. We'll dump this one in the inductor. So yeah, I learned the whole don't get it on your face thing the hard way. I used to work for an aerial application business, and we sprayed a lot of this stuff, and I didn't know anything about it. Got some on my hands, itched my nose or something, and my face burned the whole rest of the day. I was kind of getting concerned. It seemed like the more you washed it off, the worse it got. So I don't know if water makes it worse or what's going on. So let's get this dumped in. Stand back. See, I don't know if you can see that, but it turned white when it hit the water, so I'm thinking there's some kind of active ingredient or inactive ingredient in there that makes it more effective. So when you try to wash it off your face, it actually makes it worse. Alright, there's that. The bad stuff's done. This thing will hang here. There we go. Now I need to measure some of this. I need 1/2 gallon of this. And if this is a little short, it's going to be good enough because I don't want to open another jug. This stuff isn't super critical. Yeah. We're just going to run a low rate of this. It's fine. The rate is actually 1 to 4 pints, and we've been running 2 pints. So it'll be close. It'll be like 1.5. That's per 100 gallons, not per acre. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this in the top so we can mix this stuff up. I think it kind of likes to settle out, so we'll pop the cap off here, and we will stick the lid, not the lid, we'll stick the nozzle in the lid. Open the valve and turn it on. This stuff is really smelly. It smells like ammonia, and it'll take your breath away. Now what I'm gonna do, put some water in the tank. So once it gets a few 100 gallons in, I'll start pumping chemical in. I gotta do, shoot, I didn't do my math on that. I gotta put this in, and then put our foliar in, and then put our NIS in last. Time to pump the chemical in. You just open this valve and it starts going down. And you kind of rinse your inductor out as it goes down. I don't like to open the valve all the way, that way it's pulling some water and some chemical. Sometimes the pump loses prime a little bit after you run the chemical in. It takes a little bit to catch up. So next will be this stuff. So I need 20 gallons of this. This has a meter on it. Reset to 0. All right, we'll run that in. That stuff is stout. All right, and that's only a 15-gallon inductor, and I need 20 gallons, so you got to run a little bit in and then just kind of make sure you got enough room, if you know what I'm saying. Look at that. Right on the button. I'm good. Done with that. Stick that back over here. And then we'll suck this stuff in. Pump loose prime. Well, I got all the products in. Now we just run the tank up to 1,200 gallons. I'm spraying 15 gallons to the acre, and then we'll have our load. So normally we buy all our chemical from FS, but for our fungicide application, we buy that wholesale through FBN. And we just recently bought this tank. It was a pretty good deal. It's a used tank, found it on Facebook. So it's not really big enough for what we want to do, but it was cheap and it kind of got us by for a while. Inductor was basically free. Improvements I'd like to make, I'd like to change that inductor into a pusher. So what that means is I would set a pump here at the tank that would only pump fresh water. Then there's a venturi underneath of that thing that would suck the chemical down in. That way you're not running chemical through the pump, because if you buy a pump that only pumps water, it's cheaper. And it's just a better way to do things. That way you're running some water and some chemical in all the time. You're not running a big slug of chemical in and then you have to mix it up. So some improvements. I'd like to get a bigger tank and probably put this one and another couple tanks we have on a trailer. I actually looked at a flatbed semi-trailer this morning. Cheap. It's nothing special. It's pretty rough, but I don't know. We might buy it, set up a chemical mixing trailer for next year. All right, we're full. Put these hoses back. Put this one over here. Back on. Open up the valve. Let it get the pump primed. I actually had just enough water in that tank, which is good because I don't know if we're going to need any more water. So at least that's empty. I started spraying this farm yesterday and didn't have enough to get the field done. So I'm going to top this thing off. Well, I guess not top it off. I'm not going to put a crazy amount in because the fields aren't exactly fit and I don't want to be too heavy. So I'll probably put about 600 gallon or so in, maybe a little more than that. I want to make sure I have enough to finish this, but I don't want to be too heavy. So put a little bit in, finish this up, got another little piece down the road, and then another 33 acre field. That's what I'm hoping to get done today. This thing is so cold-blooded, it's like 100 degrees and it still has trouble starting. Alright, so I started this job yesterday. It's called Zellhart's, all the way at the bottom. Man, there's a lot of jobs in here. There it is. That one. Okay. Start this iPad up. Continue job, auto. All right, we're good to go. Oh, gotta get this, Zellharts, make active. Come on, map. Come on, there we go. Application, ProPaz Lambda, confirm. All right, let's go. All right, let's roll. The guidance on the sprayer is just WAS, which is like the lowest quality GPS signal you can get. It's pretty basic, and it's not good enough to keep me in my sprayer tracks from when we sprayed our post-chemical application. So I got to steer it myself, which it's not bad because I can see the tracks, so it's pretty easy to steer. And yeah, it's not too bad. I'd rather do this than spray post-corn. I'm not really a big fan of doing that. Well, that field's done. Let's move to the next one. So I gotta cross a rickety old farm bridge here that's seen better days. We can't get across it with any equipment, but you can get a pickup across if you're careful. Yeah, it's real nice. You just gotta make sure you stay on the beam, and then you're golden. All right, here we go. We're gonna check this field of beans out, see if it's fit to spray. Well, that's kind of what I expected for this farm. This north end of this 80 acres is it's kind of some strange soil. It's really mucky, and it seems like even when it's dry, you still cut tracks, but it's definitely not dry right now. If I do spray this, I'm gonna have to leave this end of the field. Once you get out of this first, like, it's probably not even 1/8 of the field, it gets pretty good. So if I can just stay out of this low ground, we might be better off because the beans aren't too great down here anyway, and I don't think spraying them is gonna help. So our other option would be the airplane, and they would wanna spray this whole field. So this is one of Uncle Danny's fields. I might call him and let him make the decision, because I'm not gonna be able to spray all of it. The other thing about the airplane is they're about a week to 2 weeks out because they're pretty swamped. A lot of people are spraying fungicides this year. So yeah, it's actually not too bad right here. But like I was saying, the airplane is swamped and it might be a while before we can get done, but it needs to be done like right now. So these beans are actually like right at the perfect stage to be sprayed. So I don't know, I might talk to Uncle Danny, I might not, but I'm thinking we'll just come in here with the ground rig and do what we can. So that being said, I'm gonna go eat lunch. This is only like 60% sketchy, so I'll do it. If it was 70% though, no way. Ooh, that didn't sound good. I'm gonna go see what kind of damage I did. Oopsies. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna cross this bridge anymore. All right, change of plans. So I went home for lunch, looked at the weather, and saw that there's a chance of another derecho tonight in our area. So for those of you who don't know, the nasty storms that went through Iowa were the result of a derecho. It's when a massive cold front or a bunch of cold air meets with a bunch of hot air, and it just produces a long, very lengthy line of severe storms. At least that's the way the weatherman explained it. So I'm gonna go mow some roads before we get any more stormy weather. I'm gonna wait on spraying those beans and just see how they make it through these storms. And if we end up not getting any storms, maybe I'll spray them tomorrow. If we do, we'll just reassess then. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.